The thing that drives me is the same thing that has been driven me since I was a little kid, and I've said it since I got into the league. And I don't mean it in an arrogant way. I want to be the best running back to ever play.
What's going on? What's going on, man? It's your boy DeSean Jackson, 1-on-1 in the building. Out here, man, Eagles mandatory camp. You see the vibes, man. Fly, Eagles fly, baby. Delaware State, we in the building.
Give me some respect right now.
Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, are hosting their one and only mandatory mini-camp today at the NovaCare complex. Right now, the core of the team's offensive lineup remains the same, but there are some big changes on the defensive side. We're expecting to hear from Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni later this afternoon. Practice is scheduled to begin at 2:45.
Going on, everybody? Practice just wrapped up here at the NovaCare complex, and I think one of the best players out on the field today was Keely Ringo. Keely obviously competing for a job for that starting corner spot opposite Quinion, and he had some really nice plays today. He had a touchdown breakup in the back corner of the end zone on a nice throw, got up, met the ball at the high point and knocked it away. But the best play he might have had was when he didn't even get targeted. A.J. Brown and him were matched up one-on-one. When the ball was snapped, it looked to me like Jalen looked over to A.J. He wanted to go single coverage to A.J., and he looked away from it because Keely was right there with him stride for stride down the field. And there's a lot of interesting components to this cornerback position, but one thing Adoree Jackson doesn't have, any cornerback they bring in doesn't have, is Keely's size and Keely's speed. I mean, he is bigger and faster than every other cornerback they have on the roster. So long 6 weeks until training camp, but on the last day where he needed to impress coaches, Keely Ringo had a really, really good practice.
What's his offseason been like for you?
It's been fun. Got to do a lot of cool things. Obviously winning the Super Bowl and the parade and all that stuff was pretty cool. But the best part is getting back in here, training with the guys, meeting the new guys, and trying to get right for the regular season.
Obviously, when you said maybe evolved in light of the amount of touches and the workload you got last
year. You just gotta be smarter, right? You have your moments where you go in there, and you grind and you push it. A lot of people probably saw the squat video that the Eagles put out, but you have those days. But majority of those days is just mobility, conditioning, doing all the things to get your body in shape to perform at a high level. It was a lot of workload, but my body feels great. So that's the most important thing. And I think the way Nick and everyone here has handled it been really helpful for me.
The team obviously contract. You were asked about how defenses are going to probably focus a lot of their attention more than typically based upon how you performed last season. What have you seen from the offense and the installation, and what it's going to look like for next season that you think gives you confidence that they're going to find ways to counter that?
The thing that gives me confidence is KP's a hell of a coach, and you got A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Smitty. I can go down the whole offense. Where we're at right now in the playbook, where we're still adjusting, trying to get all those things ironed out. But whoever it looks like, that's what it's going to look like. And the most important thing is winning football games. And if we got to adapt and we got to look a different way, then we're all willing to do that. If you got to look the same way, we're all willing to do that too. So that's the stuff that you build now, and that's stuff you build in camp when you grind with each other. But the most important thing is winning football games. So no one knows how it's going to look, but all we know is that we're going to go out there and do what we can to try to win.
The team obviously has a plan for you. The team obviously has a plan for you in terms of workload and managing that. Did you do any research on your own or figure out what might work better for you this time around?
Yeah, my research was the coaches in here, Nick, Jamal. I have a lot of great running backs I'm able to reach out to. I have a lot of trainers that I work with and mentors that I trust. And, kind of listen to your body, going out there and not going too fast right away, letting your body heal. But the beauty of it is like, I don't know how many touches I had or how many yards, but it doesn't feel like it. I feel really good. I feel like I'm entering my prime. So just got to continue, have the mindset of listening to everyone, buying into what they want me to do, and whatever they do, try to do it to the best of my ability.
Was that hard for you to kind of let your body rest? Probably, it seems like more so than you have in past years.
No. It wasn't hard because everyone that I trust told me basically sit down for a little bit. So in past years when I was younger, you think like, oh, someone's getting better than me, or I'm relaxing and I see Derrick Henry running hills, or I see Christian McCaffrey posting something. Like the old me would be like, oh, I gotta go. I still have that competitive nature, but two completely different seasons. So just listen to everyone, and when it's time to go, I've been going, and when it's time to back off, I've been backing off. But you got Marshall Faulk, you got Adrian James. Those are two that come to mind right away.
Saquon, nobody's ever had 2,000 back-to-back. Does that become a goal for you?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. But I didn't go into last year with the mindset of rushing for 2,000 yards. Kind of just happened. I know I was able to watch a Football Life on Emmitt Smith, and he was big on writing goals. And I'm a big believer in setting goals too. But for me, I kind of just take care of the little things first, and everything else that I want to accomplish, all the things you have to accomplish to become great, to create your legacy and to become a Hall of Fame player. I just try to focus on that, and the rest will take care of itself.
How does your dad feel about the combined with the playoffs rushing record, having that instead?
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think, we really never got to focus on that because when it happened, I won a Super Bowl, or we won a Super Bowl. So we kind of just focused on celebrating the Super Bowl win and accomplishing that and really moving on right away from it.
Whenever you were talking about your future retirement, you said you'd never lose the passion for the game. Is it a accomplishment-based thing where you think I've done enough, or like what do you?
You're talking about like when I said the retiring thing?
Yeah. Like whenever you think about that in the future, is that a legacy-based decision? Because it seemed like you said like you'll never lose the passion for the game.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever lose a passion for the game, and the retiring thing. I think that caught a little fire on social media. I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. The question was asking me, and just like I don't have a set date or how many years I want to play. I would love to play this game as long as God let me and my body let me. So that's really it.
You talked to the 2,000-yard backs like Barry, Jabal Williams, even Derrick Henry about what they did to their bodies and like that season afterwards.
No, really haven't, to be honest. And I should definitely reach out to Derrick. I'm good friends with Derrick, and he's been doing it for a long time. And rushed 2,000, almost got it last year, and playing at a high level at that age and at the position we play. So Derrick's definitely somebody I should reach out to. That's good. That's a good point you just made there. So definitely take advantage of that.
When it comes to the comment you made about knowing when it's time to go with football and when it's not, how has Goff helped get you away from the game and all the other stuff that goes along with it?
Yeah, golf is super important to me. One, because I'm addicted to it, to be completely honest. It's frustrating that, you could play well one day and not play so great the next. But it's been helpful for me when I was in New York. I was going through the tag process, not wanting to worry about anything, just going to golf course. You have a good game, you have a bad game, your body feels good. You can go out there on Monday and kind of just hit golf balls and not really think about too much. So golf been really helpful for me, and I wish I took it a little earlier. But I'm happy I'm able to do it now. The best experience, I've had a lot, but my favorite thing will always be coming in here and coming to OTAs and training with my teammates and getting to know the new guys. Every time you talk to anybody who's retired and done playing football, who's accomplished everything, they always say the thing that they miss the most is here. So cherishing those moments, and the next 6 weeks, we grinded here. So maybe a day or two, let your body relax and recover. But you got 6 weeks to really get yourself ready for camp. In past years, I would come into camp focused, like trying to be ready for game one, but getting your body ready to do football drills and letting camp get yourself ready for the season. So make sure I come in shape enough for camp, but also not doing too much, overdoing it in this next 6 weeks.
When you're coming off of a Super Bowl championship and also rushing record, what are you finding is your motivation, the thing that's driving you now that you've accomplished those two things?
The thing that drives me is the same thing that has been driven me since I was a little kid, and I've said it since I got into the league. And I don't mean it in an arrogant way. I want to be the best running back to ever play, or at least one of the best running backs ever play. I don't think there's actually a way you can prove who's the best. But that's always been my motivation, and I feel like God's blessed me with a unique ability and put me through a lot of adversity, and that's still gonna be my mindset. So the love of the game, wanting to win and wanting to compete and wanting to be great, it's always gonna push me, no matter if we win 4 Super Bowls. Thank you.
Jalen, you looked, at least for the days we were here, you looked pretty comfortable, pretty confident. Would you agree with that assessment, number one? And if so, why the transition this time do you think is going smoothly?
Transition from? Yeah, well, just really taking a day at a time. I've treated this off season like I've treated every off season, coming in and trying to learn as much as I can, trying to develop that chemistry with the play caller. And as it changes, as offensive leadership changes, you have to find ways to, not really about finding ways, it's more so about depositing time into it. I spend a lot of time, and so we've had some valuable conversations that I think will help us all in the end. And of course, he's already had a mark on all of the team since Coach Sirianni and himself have been here. So we're just building, far from where we want to be, but trying to build that and trying to continue to grow.
It's on you for having to learn the coordinator, they call it every offseason, every big change. But is there something to be said for new ideas from the new guy every year and that being implemented in the playbook and go forward?
Say that again?
Like, is there something to be said for each new coordinator that comes in, bringing their ideas to the table, and then that gets into the playbook, and the playbook just builds over time, the collection of ideas of the coordinators?
Yeah, there's a dynamic of that kind of already exists. It's just a matter if it gets called in the game. A coach has always had to say and play the role. Obviously, he's in a different seat now, so he's the final. He gets the final word. He's in charge of the offense, and so I think he's been doing a great job of that and what we've been able to do. And on the other side of it, there is a dynamic of adaptability that you have to be able to have, and find success regardless of what the leadership looks like, what the voice is, who's in the quarterback room coaching me, or who's out there calling plays. And so that's really where I put my energy at, trying to decode these things and kind of figure it out on my terms a little bit and find a way to make it go.
How valuable has this extra time been with Jahan, in light of the fact that he was added to the mix very late into the offseason last year, and also with DeVonta not always being here and AJ kind of getting a break here and there?
Yeah, I think that time has been valuable. It's been valuable working with Jahan, working with Terrace Marshall. We made a lot of big plays this offseason. Dallas, Grant, Harrison, everyone, Saquon out there, everyone who was able to go and available, working with them and taking advantage of that was big. I think that's important for developing that chemistry. And we all know the season can go any type of way, and so just making sure you kind of can have a foundation of some sort with everyone is important. And then I've also had the conversation, with Coach Patullo of who's available matters, but ultimately it's about how we put them in a position to do what we're going to do. And so I got to go execute it. We got to go make it work regardless.
Having been through the process before, getting on the same page with a new play caller, do you feel like you're better at that now?
Yeah, I'm better at it. I mean, it's been every year, so I think it's just been a progression over time, in a way of evolution. You bank information, you take in stuff, and you're really just learning from your mistakes. You're learning from your successes as well. You're learning from all of your experiences. So there isn't really anything I can't lean on and say I've experienced one way or another when it comes to, change or a system or approach. And I think Kevin has a unique way of looking at that. Coach has a unique way of looking at that. And so, I'm excited to see what we can do.
Along those lines, Jalen, look at the season that Saquon had last season, everything, the way he's come back into camp so far this spring. Like, how do you see his game possibly evolving this year? Like, what more can he do to kind of take his game even higher?
Just continue to be consistent. He's very consistent, and he stepped in and played a big role for us and added a new dynamic and element to our run game. And I really think that he complements everything we do very well, and we complement each other well. He's a hell of a player, and so just going out there and continue to be himself. Works really hard, has a great competitive nature to him, and we just want to continue to push that.
Up on that, I mean, teams will obviously adapt to what he did last year. So I guess how can you guys as an offense kind of adjust to their adjustments?
Well, they have to pick their poison, and so it's just a matter of going out there and executing. We got to make sure we're in a good position to go do what we're going to do. And then, when someone gets an opportunity to make something happen, make it happen.
Back to your experience with the changes, we focus so much on the coordinators, but you've also had 4 position coaches in 4 years. What is that like? How much does that change your daily routine, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think as you get older, you kind of find comfort. You're encouraged by what you've been able to do, and that opens up the door of feeling like, okay, maybe there's more that I can do. And so when I look at it, just looking at Coach Scott and saying, man, how can he help me take it to the next level? And I know that's his whole thing. When he came here, that was where his head was. He said, I just want to help you do more, get more, and advance my game. And so I think he's been great. I've always had that sponge-like mentality and taking in as much as I can. And when it's time to go out there and play, go out there and play.
I think Kevin will be your 6th play caller. Going back to Doug, your rookie year. How do you know 6, right?
I don't count.
Nick, Shane, Brian, Kellen. How do you tell what kind of play caller he'll be when that's not? Do you have conversations about that piece of it, the play calling?
No, too soon. He's been a great leader and what he's been asked to do. I feel he has a great command, and I think that'll only grow over time. And we'll get down later down the road, and we'll see how sequencing is. A lot of teams around the league run very similar plays. It's a matter of how you teach them, what are the details within the play, and how you sequence it as you call a game. And so he'll find that.
Have you talked to anybody, quarterbacks in particular, but anybody about the challenge of winning again? And if so, could you say what you've learned, what you want to try to learn about it?
Yeah, I answered that last time. I talked about my conversation with MJ a little bit, and yeah.
Did really?
Derek Jeter.
If I can follow up on something you discussed last time in terms of demands on your time. How do you determine what you're going to lend your game and your time to? Because I imagine and be intentional?
Yeah, I think in relation to the organization, I think there are certain things that I'm obligated to do, and you try and make the most of those things. And as far as anything off the field, I always filter it through the main thing. That's just trying to go out there and win. You know, can I allocate time to go out there prepare and be prepared as I walk into something. And so I always filter it through that.
Two more.
Leader of the team. What have you noticed about the team? In the short window here of these spring workouts. Any takeaway? That you see from the team.
Too soon. Too soon. I think there's a bit of a layer of experience from everyone here and there. Even certain people that are going to fill in roles, they got experience, and so I think that's something that's very valuable long term. That doesn't make you the most mature, but it's experience and it's valuable, so I think that'll help us.
As far as the summer, you talked in the past how your sort of regimen has evolved and what you do to get ready for the season. Does playing late, like you've done, twice in 3 years, going all the way to the Super Bowl, does that sort of affect the way you tweak things as far as your preparation?
Yeah, this year it didn't. This year it didn't. Yeah, I was really got straight back to it. And I just kind of do that for my own sanity. My own sanity of beginning the process of fine tuning the things I want to fine tune and seeing how can I get better.
Okay. Thanks.
How y'all doing?
What you been doing the last couple of weeks?
Working.
So you're working with Ryan Williams a little bit. What obviously the Alabama connection, but how did you guys kind of hook up there?
I reached out to him. Once I've met him before, like through text and things like that. Just wanted to meet him in person, chop it up with him. Going to be a great player coming up. Just give him a little insight on what I think and things like that. What he should look forward to, because it's only going to get tougher.
How's the offense look? Under Kevin, I guess I don't know how much you've been here and how much you haven't, but now that you've been here for the mini camp, what have you seen?
It looks good. Guys. Football is football, like I always say. Everybody does the same thing, different terminology. So getting down to learning his philosophy, the way he does things, why he does it, and just understanding how he's thinking.
What are the different things that Parks Frazier brings to the passing game?
Say it again.
How different ideas are Parks Frazier bringing to the passing game?
When everybody has, the way they want to do things, how they see it, and things like that. So to have different perspectives on why we're doing things, and it's just give you an extra person to, see things the way they see it. Because everybody might not see things the same way, but at the end, we're all getting to the same thing. So if his way helps you understand it better, that might be what works for you, rather than, the way somebody else explains it.
It's our first time catching up with you since the Super Bowl, so some of these questions might be related. But I'm curious, the emotion you had on the sideline, what was behind that? And then the touchdown catch, where does that rank in your career?
The emotion, I really don't know, man. I just kind of came out the tunnel and it just kind of hit me. I guess it was just, the feeling of just being back home. And, my grandfather, he doesn't come up here to games and things like that. So him being able to, see me in the NFL at the biggest game it was, and him just being there, I think that's what kind of set in with me. And, yeah.
And the touchdown catch?
I would say it's top 3.
And the other 2?
I would say one of the catches the other 2 would be 2 catches against Washington. It's a lot of them, so.
What's the offseason been like for you?
It's been good. Spending time with the family, working out, playing Call of Duty. That's really all it's been.
As far as like the demands on your time, or people coming up to you don't know.
No, I'll be inside most of the time, so don't nobody get to see me.
When you look ahead, to this season, what kind of things do you kind of map out what you want to improve on, and if so, what do you see as being things that you'd like to improve your game on?
At the end of every season, you kind of go back, watch some things that you did really well, things that you need to work on. And for me, had some injuries this year, so that's probably the biggest thing. Just doing things to prevent, having those injuries and things like that. I would say that was the biggest thing for me.
How much did you know Terrace Marshall is another Louisiana guy? What's it been like with him?
I've been knowing Terrence for a while. We played on the same 7-on-7 team in high school. So I've been knowing him since then. And it's great, anytime, you can get a Louisiana guy up here, I'm all for it. Being somebody that I've been knowing since high school, looking forward to, playing with him, and glad that he's here. He has a lot of big frame guy, has strong hands, and gives you the versatility in the room, having smaller guys like me, Jahan, Anais, and then you have your bigger guys, AJ, Terrence, Johnny. So just the versatility in the room.
What are some of the things that you can do that you've been doing to try to avoid or eliminate injuries?
Just strengthen whatever I need to strengthen. Anything that I had that was bothering me, just strengthen it.
Was that 7-on-7 team?
I would say we were pretty elite.
DeVonta, you have a softball game coming up you've been doing year after year. How fun is that for you to put on each year, and how special is it to be able to bring your teammates together to give back?
I think it's great, just to give the guys a time to step away from football, to just go out there, just be themselves, and then just, to be able to have the community out, do it for those fans, give them something else to, enjoy, something to laugh at. Some guys are not the best at baseball, so give the fans, a chance to come out there and see us do other things, and then ultimately, it's to a fundraiser for, the hospital, so St. Jude, so just going out there, doing it for the people in the hospital, and just being able to give back to the community that way.
It's a type of question. Iowa's not around the corner. How did Cooper convince you to go out there?
I don't know how Coop got me out there, but I told him he did a damn good job of getting me out in the middle of nowhere.
AJ had catchers have nicknames like the ones.
Nah.
Do you like that nickname?
If that's what everyone wants to call it, they can.
DeVonta, AJ had the explained how winning the Super Bowl maybe didn't feel exactly how he thought it would. Maybe didn't fulfill him like he thought he would quite. I was curious if you had a similar reaction to it, or.
I think for me the biggest thing was it just being at home. I think it was just winning, at home in front of my family. I think I took that. That kind of hit me harder than just winning it overall, just doing it in front of my family.
All right. Thanks, Smitty.
Appreciate it.
Hello again.
Any particular reason you didn't do team or 7-on-7s today?
Yeah, just some overall general soreness. They do a good job managing us.
What have been your impressions of Jihad now that you've seen him a little bit?
It's a big dude. Similar to myself, a versatile guy that can do a lot of different things. Just starting to see him move around a little bit, and the dude can move, and he's impressively very smart on the board as well. So I'm really excited for him.
This is the first time you've gone into a season. You've got the contract, you got the honors and the accolades and everything. How do you kind of keep that same mentality that you've always had in your career with everything that's happened?
Yeah, I think throughout my career I learned just to never be satisfied with where I'm at. Before a contract or before a breakout year, you could have said I made it because I'm in the NFL. And in my head, I still had stuff to prove, and that's definitely still the case now.
Star linebacker, for lack of a better term, you've got young guys who are now looking up to you, and they probably have never had the hard to that. What's that?
Yeah, it's cool. This year, definitely a transition for me in terms of a leadership role, especially being in a room with so many young guys and so many guys that look up to me and trust me and to guide them in their careers, whether that's on special teams or at linebacker. And a couple guys around the league as well have reached out to me, career special teams players that are inspired by my story, and that's really cool and special to me.
What's it like getting the first team reps when you were practicing with Trot? What have you seen him in improvement there?
Yeah, what I've always seen, just a smart, dedicated guy that tries to do the right thing every time. He's super smart, very athletic, and very instinctive when he plays the game.
What have you noticed from Trotter?
I think his overall feel for the game. He's already had the instincts, but just being in this scheme for a year now, the two of us, honestly, just feeling way more comfortable at this point than we were last year.
How would you describe that linebacker room? Seems like there's a ton of talent there.
Yeah. Young, obviously, athletic, very athletic. I mean, you look at Smile and Lance too, and Jihad. Those are three very, very athletic guys that can do a lot of different things. Just getting them installed in our playbook is the biggest thing.
Role is your story. Change your perspective on guys that are also here on one-year deals. Like in the past, you might have been more focused on yourself, or not. I'm just curious how that might affect or change your perspective on guys that are on similar deals.
Yeah, in team meetings, Nick mentions kind of my story, and with all the one-year deal guys we have now, Nick mentioned my story earlier on in OTAs, and I love it because he uses me as an example to kind of prove yourself. Like, and this, especially in this organization, this is an organization that's going to give you a shot, an honest try. And I've talked to Josh Uche especially.
he's really inspired and trying to take that same trajectory, that same path. And with that, it's a lot of hard work and just dedication to making it your best year.
You have to think about that increased leadership role on sort of a day-to-day basis.
Pretty intentional at this point. It's different for me because obviously I'm a quiet guy. I don't really say much. I kind of keep to myself naturally, and I'm more of a lead by example type guy. But as I'm feeling more comfortable and connecting with the guys in the locker room, I feel way more natural talking to everyone now and really pushing that more vocal leader now.
Are there players from your past who you kind of saw in that role that you're kind of mirroring after now?
I mean, I've had so many leaders. There's so many different types of leadership too. There's the quiet, more reserved, but you still really look up to them. There's the Demario Davis that's going to give you the rah-rah speech. I think I'm still trying to figure out who I want to be and how I want to do this. I'm definitely trying to do it my way.
You're still new at this position. How much better can you get?
I don't know. We have to wait and see.
I mean, do you feel like there's a lot of room until your ceiling?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like you said, that was my first real year playing inside linebacker. You tell me.
What's it like?
Have you tried a rah-rah approach in the past? Does that work for you?
I have not really, just not natural for me, so I've never really been that.
What's it like?
You mentioned how you told the assistant linebacker coach that your goal was 100 tackles and making back on the team. You obviously exceeded that. Have you written down goals or set goals?
I have not set goals for this year, no. Not yet. Just because I'm back, stepped back and really sticking back to the basics right now. Really working the fundamentals, and I think this is a good time of year for that. And then as we approach the season and what's about to come, I'll set some new goals.
What's it like kind of having that versatility and play both, inside linebacker and edge? I mean, it seemed like, you're kind of setting the standard with that. And do you see Jihad as a guy who could possibly do that too?
Yeah, it's kind of it sounds like a great thing, like being a utility knife kind of guy, like a do-it-all kind of guy. But it comes with, it's a blessing and a curse because it comes with responsibility and the knowledge that comes with that. So as much as he can handle and put on his plate, I'm sure Vic's going to push that.
Vic was saying that you took Jihad to decide you did one-on-one with him. We haven't talked to Jihad yet since the OTAs and such. What is it one-on-one with Vic like?
I don't know. I've never been one-on-one with Vic. I'm not sure what they did.
By the way, Vic did tell the story of, like you in training camp last year, when he wanted to start you off at all fall and said there was more to learn there. And at some point you came to him and said, hey, when am I going to get to rush the passer?
Mm-hmm.
And you stopped at some point. What made you stop asking to rush the passer?
One, the guys we had. I'm like, we're probably good in the pass rush department. And two, at that point, I was feeling far more comfortable at the inside linebacker position and learning my role there. And I'm just ride that out. And if Vic wants to give me more responsibility, then I can add more to my play at edge.
How badly do you want to see Nakobe come back and he didn't get to finish what you guys finished? Was that tough to go through not being able to finish with him?
Yeah, it was definitely tough him going down. I've talked about this in the past, but I'm excited for him to be back. I mean, we got another year, another shot at this, and just put the work in, and we'll get to the same place.
What have you noticed from just his approach as he goes through his recovery during the spring? What have you seen out of Nakobe, the way he's handling everything?
Yeah, he's continuing to be a leader in the meetings and on the field, giving pointers and tips to the young guys and myself. He's just such a smart guy that it's always best when his knowledge is expressed and put out there into the world. And he's working hard every day in the training room, in the gym, trying to get back.
In the comments you had with you after the new contract, you spoke about how, or I guess we're asked, and then spoke about how the perception of the position changed with how giving you that deal. And then a month later, Jihad was drafted in the first round. Is that felt in the room that this is a position that's valued in this organization?
Yeah, definitely valued, definitely appreciated, and we appreciate that as well. And it also comes with a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of money in our room now, and there's also a standard that we set last year. So holding that standard, getting the new guys up to that standard is going to be crucial moving forward.
Okay. Thanks, Zach.
Hey, been around a long time. Is the energy of this team at this point different in any way from previous squads? Or obviously you've been a part of one that won a championship before. Can you equate it to that one?
It's really competitive. I think with any of the teams that we've had a lot of success with, we've had a lot of big guys around. So, when I look at the O-line room, we have a lot of big dudes around, similar to last year. So, it's a good problem to have. But I just feel like everybody in here gets along really well, and we're great teammates on and off the field. So it's been fun. Yeah, Steen is develops a lot. I think when you look at him, he's just a physically gifted dude, man. He's a lot stronger, than what he was when he first arrived. So, I think his playing strength is starting to show, and I know he's ready for camp to start. And yeah, man, he's been putting in work, and I think you've seen traits of him where he can be a dominating player. So now it's just about doing it, trying to do it every play.
Snaps next to him last year as well around this time. Do those help now? Can you kind of use that bank?
Yeah, it helps. And everybody's a little bit different as far as timing, but we have played some snaps together, and Matt Pryor's, we played some snaps together. So I think collectively looking at our room, it's going to be an open spot for that position. So, but I'm confident with Steen and how he's played and the stuff that he showed on film.
Adjusted several different right guards over the last few years here. Jordan Waddle was telling us that that's not an easy thing to do. He gave you a lot of credit for being able to do that. What kind of goes into adjusting to the player that's been next to you these last few years?
Yeah, you just understand kind of the stuff they like in the game, as far as, but for us, it's a lot about the relationships that we take, making sure that with every pass set, we're not creating a lot of space in between us and becoming susceptible to games and things like that. So I just think with as many reps as we get, y'all see it at practice, but, we go to walkthrough, man, we're running like 80, 100 plays, so, and that's a day-to-day thing. So, for me, it's about getting out the snap, and then, all the set lines we take so many reps with Stout, and, we're allowed to get in a rhythm and kind of get the hang of things. So, I think that and then communication. So I think we communicate really good, for our group.
Some of the big bodies in your room, Miles, Cam, Holland, you got a lot of young guys. Have they stood out to you at all?
Yeah, they're big. Yeah, everybody's big, man. But, no, I think in the meeting rooms, when coaches asking questions, a lot about the offense, what is this, what is that, they're very smart, they're in tune, and, they've been a lot of fun so far. So I know they're excited for camp, but just from when they arrived to where they are now, they picked things up really quickly. And so, makes it an easier transition from here to camp.
Stout won a career achievement award last week. What perspective do you have on what he's achieved?
He wouldn't tell you anything about it. So, yeah, man, he's a remarkable person. And I think, he's a great teacher at the end of the day. I know he's a football coach, but he's just a great teacher when it comes to football, things outside of football. And I think he has a brilliant mind and coaching philosophy. And I feel like he knows how to motivate different types of personalities, and he's really good at that. And I just think his intensity and passion for the game is, what makes him who he is.
Obviously, come off of 2 different Super Bowls in the past, a win and a loss. What have you learned from those 2 off seasons that you kind of took to this off season to prepare you for this year?
Yeah, I just try to stay consistent with just my routine, how I prepare. And I know seasons end differently, but for me, it's always pretty much the same. As soon as the season ends, might take a week off, but really, kind of back into the routine. So, whatever comes, I feel like, I'm not going to bend to, how we played last year or, things in the past. But, for us, I think we just got to stay hungry. We can't be complacent. We can't be satisfied. And, it's really, about dominating the day each day. And it's a lot easier said than done. I got it as a present at the Super Bowl. So, yeah, it just has my name on it and a little diamond on there. So. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's got one side my name, the other side the 2 Super Bowls. So, yeah.
You ever wonder what your career would have been like if you weren't with Stout for all of it?
Yeah, no. I thought about what would happen if I went to Miami. Kansas City would have been bad, but Jacksonville. But yeah, I actually got to talk to Coach Chung today. He was in the building, so he was actually there when Kansas City was interviewing me. So he got to see me from day one to now. But yeah, very fortunate to land here, and I just think the passion of the city and the intensity and how they focus so much on the sport, I think it allows, whatever pressure they put on you, I think it allows you to be the best player you can be. So it's something that you can really appreciate in time, and I know I have.
Stout in terms of getting all of that out of you.
Yeah, like I said, he's a great motivator, and I think with me, I didn't play that long, at the position, and so I didn't have a whole lot of negative traits. But yeah, I just feel like he's always been a great motivator, and he knows what to say, when to say it, and yeah, he's very good at reading the room and knowing how to get the best out of everybody and to get everybody to work together and to play hard for each other. So, and it's a lot of fun doing it. I look forward to coming to work every day and grinding out. I really do. I love it.
How do you rate yourself now versus any other point in your career?
Now I feel like even though I'm 35, I feel like I'm better than when I was when I was 30, 29, 30. I had the surgeries. And so the toughest year for me was the games that I missed in 21. You can clearly see on film if you go back and watch it. I was very hindered with my left foot. So, and now, I feel like I'm getting close to, maybe my peak. So as weird as it is to say, but, that's really how I feel. So I don't know, maybe they need to do a combine for guys 10 years over, make them go do and see if they can see how they do compared to 10 years ago. Tom Brady did it.
What do you think about the idea to have a lineman, a blocker award?
Yeah, I think it's about 30 years overdue, but yeah, it'd be cool. So yeah, I think it'll be just some extra motivation for everybody.
Does not make it first team retroactive
awards. What is it?
You deserve some retroactive.
Yeah, I need some past year awards. No, I mean I think, like I said, it's a very motivating piece to have. I wish it would have been implemented a long time ago, but it's cool that it's here now. And hey, I'll be lying if I say I'm not trying to win it.
Not making first team All Pro last year. You talked about it after the year, but is that a motivator this time of year as you go into the?
Yeah, I think with anything you read, you try to change. If somebody has a bad opinion of you, hopefully you can get out there on the field and maybe change their narrative on you. So that's how I look at it. And so you just have more, do better stuff, be more violent. So I think something has to come out. And so for me, that's what it's going to take.
The summer coming up, O-line masterminds is coming up. What has it meant to you to get that thing going into where it's grown to?
Yeah, no, it's been cool just getting players of the past, current players, college players, and now we're getting bigger personalities. And Gruden's going to be there this year, so I think for a lot of players coming into the league, maybe they didn't have a whole lot of insight of maybe what a pro schedule is or what it looks like, how they train. And so I think a lot can come in 2 days of learning. For myself, but for anybody, whatever they are, coach or player, I just think having all those minds in one room, we really cover everything about the game, everything that's involved with it. And so, for me, I think it's cool to meet all these different players and, see how they play the game, how they study, how they train. I think it's really, really cool to see all that.
Is getting a fresh start here. What has stood out to you about him in his transition?
Yeah, no, he's long, he's strong, he has all the traits. He's still young. I mean, I remember being a young guy. It takes a couple years for you to get to a rhythm and to kind of that pro mode. But he has a great opportunity here, and everything's out in front of him. And training camp's going to be a battle for everybody, but really a big battle at that right guard spot.
He's standing out to you like an edge rusher that you're going against, maybe?
Edge rusher?
Yeah.
Uche? Yeah, I remember playing Patriots really quick. I think he's very versatile, what he can do. Ojulari, I played against him and a lot in New York. And then I think Jalen, so I think this is going to be a big year for him. He has all the tools. He's gained some weight, so he's really, I think it's going to be a really breakout year for him. And then, obviously, Nolan, he's still Nolan. He's still setting the tone. So, maybe he can carry a piece of what BG did for, all these years here, but, very similar.
You're not hearing BG at practice?
Well, yeah. That's like the second practice I hadn't had him. And, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Patriots game in 23, what stood out to you about Uche?
He made a good inside move to only beat me. Ball was gone, but it's really quick. I think he plays really low, for taller guys. He can get under you if you let him, but, I think he's great in coverage, just a multi-tool player. So, I think he's going to help us.
In 2017, it was arguably the best offensive line in the league then. And then last year, same thing, and you're the only starter that's here for both Super Bowl wins. Is there any pride in that?
Yeah, man. I think I'm very happy with how things have turned out. But when you're in it, when you're still playing, there's always more to do, more to strive for. But no, looking back, I'm very happy with how my career's gone, the players I got to play with, the mentors, and so yeah, I'm very fortunate. I don't know if I would be the same player or what would happen if I was with another organization, but this place has got the most out of me, and whatever time I have left, I think. I think we can still be very, very good. And I just, like I said, when you look at our room and the size that we have in that room, when I'm one of the smaller guys in the room, that's impressive. So, and that's really how it is, man. They've done a good job.
Nick, this is obviously the last day of the off-season program. Now that it's coming to a conclusion, is there anything different you did with maybe Saquon specifically in terms of limiting how many reps you got in practice, or anything different considering all the touches he had last year?
Yeah, everybody's always we always kind of think about every one of our players individually, the reps that they're getting. What's good for them, how their body's feeling, and that, like I said, I've said this before. That takes everybody, right? That takes myself, the players talking to me, the players talking to the strength and the trainer, strength staff, and the trainers of where we are. So, we just everybody kind of had individualized plans like they always do. I mean, we kind of monitored everybody as we went. We got a lot of good work in. Saquon got a lot of good work in, and yeah, I'm pleased with how the off-season program has went. We got another day, obviously, today. Looking forward to that.
Speaking of Saquon, he came out and said that, he could at any time just call it a career like Barry Sanders did. What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, I guess anybody could do that, right? I just know he's got a lot of good football left in him. I don't, again, you have I have interactions with these guys every single day, and so yeah, I'm excited that he's on our football team, and he'll be on our football team for the 2025 season. And I really don't let myself get wrapped up into anything else beyond that, except for the day that we're in and trying to get ready for this practice, and obviously handle all those things as they come. And yeah, as long as I'm the head coach here, I'd always want Saquon Barkley on this football team. Obviously he means a lot to this football team, and as a player and as a teammate.
He's been here, Tyler Sheen's gotten consistent work for the first team at right guard. Has that been the case on the days we weren't here? Is that kind of how you're thinking about this coming weekend?
Yeah, again, I know we talked yesterday too. Don't have to make any of those decisions quite yet. Got a lot of football to practice, a lot of football to play. And, obviously a big part of the offensive line and the evaluation of the offensive line comes in pads. That doesn't mean we're not evaluating them like crazy right now, but a big part of that's going to come when we put the pads on.
Getting back to Elliot's question, what have you noticed about, the way Saquon has kind of attacked the offseason, the condition he's in, and everything after having such a huge load last
year? The way I visioned or saw him attack last offseason. That's what's great about this football team is, you see the same humbleness and a hunger that I saw going into the last season, and that's, Saquon, that's all the players on this football team. They're working, and we've had a good offseason.
In terms of last year, Cooper DeSean over the summer had a week while he was going back home, and injuries happened. With rookies this summer, as you're about to let them go, is there anything that you're trying to get across in terms of how they manage
being great shape? We really pride ourselves on that you can't play with great detail, and you can't play with great physicality. You can't play with relentless effort if you're not in great shape. So they'll have, obviously we'll have conditioning tests. They'll have conditioning tests when they get back. Be in great shape. Have your body, if your body's supposed to weigh this, that's what it needs to weigh. And make sure you can run all day. Because again, the thing you notice the most when you're not in good shape, one, injuries happen. The other thing that happens is your detail slips. And in every phase, the detail has to be on point, and you can't do that unless you're in great shape. So that's always my key message to them is, they got to be working their butts off. There's no substitute for working hard, and there's no shortcut around it. You got to be ready for the season and get your body ready for the training camp and then the season.
Looks like the Campbell won't be ready until sometime in August to practice. What are the expectations for him?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I never want to put a timetable on anybody. Some guys get through things quicker than others, and vice versa. So no timetable on that as far as when he'll be ready. I know he's doing everything he can to get himself ready. And the second part of that question was?
What's the expectations for him based upon that? We saw Cooper, how it affected him.
Yeah, making sure that he gets all the mental reps that he possibly can get at this particular time. We're like, I think we're probably the only sport that practices more than they play, and then also that has more walkthrough even than you have practice reps. So, he's going to be getting a lot of those opportunities to watch walkthrough, to watch practice and get those mental reps. Because, as a guy is not in, obviously you're not working the fundamentals of block destruction or tackling or how to take the football away, but what you're trying to make sure that they have the mental part of the game down. And those are things that he can do in the film room. Those are things he can do out in the field when he's watching practice. So that's that's kind of his mission right now and our goal for him right now.
Do you have a better feel for him as an inside linebacker than an edge rusher right now?
Yeah, again, looking forward to getting our hands on him and when he's able to start practicing. But he's a good football player. We drafted him because he's a really, really good football player, and excited to have him in whatever role that he's going to execute. And we know that he's versatile and is able to do multiple things.
You talk to caller almost every year you've been here. Is this a little more seamless this year because Kevin's been here? And how is it going installing the offense with players and adjustments?
Yeah, I think there's always a transition, with a new guy calling the plays. But I don't want to compare it from one to the other or anything like that. I'm just focused on where we are right now. But Kevin's doing a great job. Kevin's obviously had the opportunity to be in front of the room. One thing I think Kevin's really doing, one of the many things that I think he's doing really well, he always had an opportunity when Shane or Brian and Kellen were the coordinators to present in front of the room a section or two. I just think he does a phenomenal job teaching the room when he's the main guy up here doing that. And so, he's got the players' attention. He's got a great plan. He's got a great process. And that's where I've noticed that, he's done a really nice job of. And can't say enough about how good of a job I think he's doing to this point. And, he's got a relationship with these players. I think that's the big thing. That's probably the main thing maybe that you're talking about, John, is that he's got a relationship with these players. So, whereas Kellen came in and had to build relationships, Kevin's been around these players for going on 5 years now. And so, I see Kevin pushing those guys, out there being able to get those guys going, whether, it's, a high five to them or hey, get your butt going, because he has that relationship with the guys that he's been building. He's always been a guy that has had strong relationships in the building. That's a strong point of his as well. And that's suiting him very well right now.
Chance to talk to.
I'm sorry.
What was your reaction to his thing, and then also how did you feel about the Cardinals and Colts specifically voting against?
Yeah, it passed, and didn't want to go too much past that. And we're ready for to be able to continue to grow that play. Excited about being able to continue to grow that play and to continue. We got a lot of work to do to continue that success. It just doesn't happen. So the same work that we needed to put into it last year, we'll even have to be better because we know teams are going to focus on it to try to stop it. And we'll even have to be better at how we coach it and how we perform it and how we execute. And so that's really, try not to focus too much on things that I can't control and only focus on the things that you can. And that's our process right now to think about, the ways that we're going to get better to get better at running that play and the compliments that come off of it.
More to Nolan last week, and he kind of said he thought he was ready to. He said strike.
He's always ready to strike.
Yeah, he's always ready.
I love Nolan Smith. He is a tough dude.
How do you sort of weigh, maybe holding him back, or do you think that way? If he's clear, he's clear.
Yeah, when we have great people in this building. It takes everybody. We have great doctors. We have great strength staff and training staff that helps me know that when they say he's ready to go, he's ready to go. And I've heard a couple of your guys' questions about well, how do you pull this guy back? When they're ready to go, they're ready to go. Everybody has an individualized plan to make sure that they're as healthy as they possibly can be. But the thing that we always have to remember, and that you guys always have to remember, is that the work to put yourself in position to win games, it takes what it takes. The work is, you have to put the work in. It's not, you don't save anybody for Sunday. Now, there's points in the year where you do, but the guys need to work. They have to work to get better at football. You don't get better at football because you get better at football because you're practicing football to get better at it. And so, obviously we have in-depth plan for everybody, obviously major conversations about everybody, but when they're ready to go and they give us the green light, they got to go and they got to, and that's what our players want too. We got guys that love to work hard and that love the process and the grind, and when he's ready to go, he'll go.
Have you researched at all the difference between, from a leadership perspective, coming off of a championship win versus a championship loss, and kind of how to navigate that?
Say that one more. Say that one more time.
Yeah. So this offseason, have you researched at all the difference between coming off a championship win and a championship loss from a leadership perspective? I know you've had a lot of conversations with guys.
Yeah, and that was my, the sustain. Really, I focused on sustained success, right? What were the common denominators of different coaches that I talked to, or players that I talked to, or Michael Johnson, other sports that that we talked to. That what were the common denominators of sustained success? And I think without getting into everything, I think there's two sides of it. You want to always, the main thing is it takes what it takes, right? You're going to have to be able to work extremely hard, and you're going to have to be able to overcome adversity. And you always have to be right in the moment of where you are. I think, as I've done research and talked to these guys, and we've had an element of sustained success here as well. But you can have two ends of it, right? You rest on your laurels, you rest on your past accomplishments, and you're not here working, or you're looking too far ahead of how do we do this again? We're focused on our process and how we get better every single day. And, if your process is right, then it gives you the best chance to win. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, but it gives you the best chance to win. And so our goal is just to focus and, it's to focus on where we are at this particular moment, to put the work in, to overcome the adversity, and the rest will take care of itself.
All right, thanks, folks. We got to get to practice. Everybody here today?
Yeah.
Can y'all feel that? Can you feel what's about to happen on this field, man? Can you feel what we about to get into? They don't respect us. They don't know about our heart, man. That thing is beating in your doggone chest right now. Whatever you got today, I got to have it. They don't respect us. They don't know about our heart, man. That thing is beating in your doggone chest right now.